Hey there, everybody, and welcome to my channel and to this video on the new moon in Jyeshtha Nakshatra, which takes place on the 30th of November. Now, if you're a Vedic astrology enthusiast, you may be relating to this particular new moon in a section of the sky called Anuradha Nakshatra. And that's because different astrologers from the Vedic system of astrology use different calculations. And the calculations that I'm working with, which I tend to find more accurate, place this particular new moon in the very first quarter, or what is called a pada, of Jyeshtha Nakshatra. And if you have absolutely no idea of what I'm talking about, don't worry about it because it's probably not really that important to you. What's important is getting ready to follow, which is the assessment. But before we jump into that, if you enjoy my regular videos and you'd like to be notified every time I do something new, please hit the subscribe button below and tick the notification bell to get notified every time I'm doing a new video. So you're likely, as we approach this particular new moon, assessing your situation and going, whew, man, how did things ever get to such a heightened level of messed upness? And how did my grammar ever get so messed up that I come up with terms like messed upness? And how did I ever find myself going from point A to point X to point W to point R to point Q when really all I was trying to do was get to point B? And then when I got to point B for a temporary moment in time and found out that it was really more like point F, well, what do I do now? And when you're feeling that the pressure is really on you to get to some sort of suitable space with your situation in order to not only improve your life, but equally the lives of those, who are around you, well, that can feel pretty frustrating and equally pretty enraging. And it places you in a position where you feel like the moment calls for really strong action. And when we get into those spaces of things calling for really strong action, if we're not very careful and not able to approach the situation with a decent level of perspective and wisdom, well, that's when all sorts of further craziness happens. And if you're getting tired of all the craziness in your life and you'd like a little bit of clarification, please feel free to schedule in one of my astrological services. You'll find those at the link that you'll see above. So back to the matter at hand. It's like you're looking at the situation and you're going, here's what I could do. Here seems a good solution to the situation, right? But I can't do that. I can't do that because there are all these other needs that have to be met, not only for myself, but equally of those with whom I'm involved in the situation. So the needs at the present moment are making it so that the vision of something that may actually improve matters is not really able to be attainable. And so, what do? Do you sit with that stew of negative, intensive emotions? Or do you strong arm the situation and try to go, well, you know what? Those points where I disagree with another person on what the best route forward for the future might be, I'm just going to do that and I'm going to assert myself. Well, not really wise if you want to keep those people along for the journey. So there's a need at the moment as we're dealing with this to find common ground. Trying bully boy tactics or bully girl tactics or bully whatever tactics or bulldog tactics where you grab onto the situation and go no 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 my way or the highway, just like a little rubber toy in your mouth. I love it when dogs do that. But anyway, we're not talking about dogs. We're talking about the situation and how you might be called upon to be a little overly intense with it. Chances are what you're dealing with, it's not. Well, I should kind of clarify what I'm going to say next. The situation that you're dealing with, it is pretty important, and on a certain level, may even feel to you like it's dire. And you may even feel like things are close to the edge. Jyeshtha is a delicate and sharp nakshatra, so it tends to make us feel like we're kind of like walking the razor's edge in a particular situation. So it may actually be that way to a degree, but quite often when we let our emotions and our frustration, and yes, even our anger and perhaps even rage get the better of us, we take something that is, well, perhaps, a little bit desperate and a little bit dire, and we blow it so that it's like, the most vital and important choice that we've ever made in our life, when ultimately, even though it may be important, it's not as huge as you're making it out to be. And so your lack of perspective or your lack of clarity in this situation can lead you to make some decisions which ultimately are not best. The best choices in terms of dealing with the matter at hand, even though you may feel a little bit restless, and even though you may feel like the independent route is really the best route for you, the best choices are going to come through finding common ground with another, through assessing both sides of the situation and trying to find a balanced approach. Sure, the choice that you're making at the present moment in one area of your life or another is very important, but sometimes desperation blows perspicacity out of the water. That's a new word for today, perspicacity, right? So if you want to go look it up in the dictionary, it means a certain level of perspective on the situation. So you need to look at it with awareness, and desperation is not going to let you look at it with awareness. And you need to look at it in a balanced manner, because those who you do have along for the journey, regardless of what sector of your life this is in, whether it be career, relationship, etc., their views are important. So you need to find a balanced space that's somewhere in the middle, and not the type of space where you're feeling tempted to assert your will over another person. That other person has some very valuable input for you if you can only allow yourself to be calm in the moment long enough to listen to it. And if you could use a little bit of help with this particular new moon energy or anything else, please feel free to schedule in one of my astrological services. You're going to find those at the link above. So that's going to do it for this look at the new moon in Jyeshtha Nakshatra, which takes place on the 30th of November 2024. Until next time, please do take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.